What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We got some Thursday night football as well as some Thursday night NBA. Now, I will say NBA slate's a little bit ugly. Thursday night football game looks like it could be a bit ugly as well, so I recommend playing light on this slate. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there, but I will have some picks for all these games. We'll go ahead and take a look at those here in just a minute, but I do want to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of VIP. So I do this in every video. If this video gets 250 likes, I will randomly select a comment down below to win a free month of our VIP, so make sure you guys join. Make sure you guys leave a like and a comment on the video for your chance. If you're not in the Discord, join our Discord. The Discord is free to join. We'd love to have you guys a part of the community. And looking at yesterday's free picks, we ended up 3-1 again. So the only one that missed was our man Knuppel. We had Knuppel over 24.5 PRA. He ended with 23. He missed a lot of easy shots he should have made. There's a couple layups he missed there. A lot of threes he missed. He shot like 30%. So unlucky day on Knuppel. If the game would have stayed a little bit more competitive, I do believe he would have ended up cashing us. But the Bucks were down 15 to 20 pretty much the entire game, so ended up causing him to really not even, I'm not saying he didn't take shots and didn't try hard, but he didn't have to try as hard as he normally would have if the game was competitive. So in my opinion, that was the main deciding factor on that play. But 3-1 day, not bad. We cashed one of the two slips I gave for free. That being said, let's go ahead and pick our winner from yesterday. Winner is going to be for, drum roll, Rory Strain, who said, let's go. So, Rory, send me a message on Discord. I'll get you added for that free month of VIP, my man. I do want to say, you guys can get a free month of our VIP by signing up for any partnered app. Right now, in our Discord, we have a link to sign up for ThunderPick. Anybody who signs up for ThunderPick can send me a DM. If you sign up using our code, send me a DM. I am buying there's $25 gift cards. They will literally double your first deposit when you deposit. So you're getting a little over $50 for free. And I'm giving these gift cards away in Discord. So this is not a scam. I know it sounds kind of scammy buying gift cards, but it's not a scam. I'm giving $50 away to pretty much every single one of you. If you want to get that, just send me a message on Discord. We can make it happen. Obviously, you do have to send proof that you signed up with our code, but send me proof of that, and I'll go ahead and buy the gift card and send them to you guys. But you can get a free month of VIP with any link down in the description. There's up to 8 months for free. If you sign up for more than one app, just let me know. I'll add more than one free month of VIP. If you guys want to get all my plays, WAP links down in the description as well. You can use code NBA right now for 20% off any of our packages. Right now, it's $10 a week or $25 a month to get every single one of our plays. If you guys want to be a part of the Discord, it's there. We'd love to have you guys in the community. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into some of these free picks. So the first thing we're going to talk about is NFL. We're going to go over the NFL game, and then we'll go over the NBA and do that, kind of separate them that way. So the first game we have right now, the Jets taking on the Patriots. This one is home game for the Patriots, minus 12.5 on the spread with a 42.5 point total. Right now, majority of the money, obviously, on the Patriots, 79% on Patriots money line, 69% on Patriots covering a 12.5 point spread, and then you got 59% of the money on the under on this total. Now, this is a Thursday night football game, guys, so one thing I do want to say is anything can happen. You guys know how these games go for football. It would not surprise me if somehow the Jets snuck out a win on the road in New England like that. It could definitely happen. Now, in terms of looking at the team I think is going to win, and the team I'm picking to win, I'm picking the Patriots, obviously. It'd be dumb not to take the Patriots. The Patriots win 4 out of 5 games versus the Jets, in my opinion. Patriots are the better team. They're 8-2 on the season. They're on like a 6-game win streak. They've been dominating this season so far. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to get rid of this filter thing real quick. All right, so taking a look at them, they're on a 7-game win streak to be exact. They just beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, 28-23, close, tough game there. But if you look at the Jets, man, the Jets have won their only 2 games. They've won them twice in a row. So they just beat the Bengals and they beat the Browns 2 games in a row, more than 66 points, 66 points total in those 2 games scored by them on offense. So looking a lot better offensively. Defense giving up a lot of points still. I expect this game to kind of go over a teaser total, which I'll give you guys a teaser here in a minute that I'm going to be playing on Bovada. So if you guys want to tell that, you can. But right now, man, not really much to say other than I think the Patriots win at plus 600 and minus 600. You can't play these lines. Like, it's impossible to take New England at minus 600 odds. I'm not betting $600 to win 100. That should be stupid. So if I had to put money on a money line, I'd throw $100 or something on the Jets and just hope to 6x my money. If I lost the $100, that's the risk I'm taking. But that's what I would do. In terms of what I'm actually going to play, you're going to see a teaser today. You're probably going to be taking the Jets plus 28.5 or plus 19.5, a 7 or 8 point teaser. Then I'm going to run it with the total over 36.5 or over 35.5, depending on how many points I play on this teaser. So if I play an 8 point teaser, it'll be 35.5 or 34.5, if I play and plus 20.5, so you can do the math there. 7-point teaser, it would obviously be one less than that. You'd have a 35.5 total with a 19.5 spread right there. So that's what I'm going to run. I don't think the Jets get beat by 20 points. I think that they can keep this game competitive just by the way they've been playing lately. They have not looked good at all this season, so they could definitely come out here and put up a big goose egg on points, and it wouldn't surprise me too much. But so taking a look at these two teams offensively and defensively, right now the Jets do have a top 5 ranked offense in terms of yards per game. They're getting almost 142 rushing yards per game. Now, the reason being is their quarterback has been trashed this season so far. Breece Hall has been their main weapon. They're having to use him, and they pretty much have a running back at quarterback. So you got to remember that as well. They're going against the number 1 ranked rushing defense in the league right now, giving up only 79 yards per game. This also has something to do with some of the game scripts. This New England rushing defense is good, but they also are winning most of their games, so these teams are playing from behind, and they're not running the ball nearly as much. So you got to remember that as well. That does play into the yards allowed per game on average as well. If you look at passing yards, they're giving up 230 passing yards per game on defense, so weak bottom 10 in terms of yards per game on defense. If you look at the pass yards for the Jets, it's the worst passing offense in the league right now, only averaging 144 passing yards per game. New England, on the other hand, obviously top middle of the pack right now in rushing yards, 117 rushing yards per game. Then passing yards, top 10 passing offense at 244 or 241 passing yards per game. If you're going against a defense that allows pretty much stats everywhere, they're giving up 140 rushing yards per game as well as almost 200 passing yards per game. So this Jets defense has been a little bit mid so far. If you're looking at what this game is projected from covers to get 22 points and then 17 for the Jets. So they're saying New England keeps this game pretty close, man. 7 within a touchdown score. So you guys can do what you want with that. They're taking the Jets plus 12.5 and the under on the total. If you want to take the under on a teaser, you could do that as well. You could take the under at 50.5. That's probably pretty good. The thing about the total for these two teams that worries me slightly is if you look at the Jets, their game totals have been over 41.5 in 67% of games. And I'm just worried that, all they got to do is put up two scores, and I'm pretty sure the Patriots can put up 3 scores themselves, and that covers our 34.5. So 21-14 would cover that. That's why I'm taking the over on like 34.5. You alt this down to like 35.5 or 34.5, depending on what number you want to take on the teaser. They've been over this 90% of games and then 78% of games. So the hit rate is very, very well on this one. It's a Thursday night game. Anything can happen. It could end up being very low scoring, but I'm predicting this to go over the 34.5 and for the Jets to keep it within 20 points. Obviously, that should be pretty free, but you never know, man. Sometimes these teasers don't go the way you expect. I'm thinking it's going to today. I think we're going to cash out, and I like that if you want to play it. So jumping over to the NBA slate, we got a 3-game NBA slate. Ugly freaking slate, man. I'm going to be honest with you. You got the Raptors playing Cleveland. You got the Hawks versus the Jazz and the Pacers versus the Suns. So we're going to talk about the best game on the slate, which is the Raptors versus the Cavs. Let's take a look at them. Cavs minus 257 at home, 7.5-point spread with a 239.5-point total. Right now, 70% of the money is pretty much on the Cavs, with 88% of them covering the spread, minus 7.5. I don't know if I agree with that, but 71% of the money is also on the over on this total. Looking at these two teams, the Cavs have a 67% win rate. They have won 5 of their last 6 games. Same exact thing for the Raptors, man. 55% win rate, but they've won 5 of their last 6. They just beat the Nets. They did lose to Philly the game before that. It was a back-to-back game, so that's one reason they lost, in my opinion. I think they can put up a fight against Philly if they're fresh. They beat Milwaukee. They beat Memphis, and they beat the Cavs in Cleveland not long ago. So go look at that as well. Right now, the Cavs are playing a back-to-back. They just played a tough game versus Miami yesterday. They ended up beating Miami with none of their starters in. So the Cavs rested all their starters. Right now, their starters are sitting at probable and questionable, which is really, really weird to me for rest. Really, really weird to me. I don't see the starters sitting. Now, this is something you have to pay attention to. Potentially, they could rest. Garland's questionable. It worries me slightly on running anything for like money lines. Right now, Toronto's plus 270. They beat Cleveland in Cleveland earlier this season already at plus 270. Sprinkling a unit here might not be bad, especially if some of these Cavs players get ruled out on a back-to-back because their team is playing on a back-to-back. Some of them are going to – obviously the starters aren't tired legs or anything like that, but they are on a back-to-back. So I'm playing at home. They should be able to win. The Cavs are the better team in my opinion. This Raptors team is not bad, though. I like this Raptors team. So I may sprinkle a little bit at plus 270. Realistically, I think the Cavs win, but at the odds and with the potential for some players to sit, it makes sense for me right now to take Toronto plus 270. So I'm probably going to sprinkle a little bit there. Maybe Toronto plus 7.5. I don't dislike that either, especially when you got 90% of the money on the Cavs. Just looks better for me. So I may end up just playing the spread for Toronto. That being said, next game we have is going to be the Hawks versus the Jazz. We got Jazz plus 133 underdogs at home. Hawks are on a back-to-back. The Jazz are not. It's a 2.5-point spread with a 232.5-point total. Right now, 63% of the money is on the Hawks, 82% of the money on the Hawks covering a spread, 88% of the money on the over on this total. This game should be pretty fast-paced. The Jazz have looked really, really bad this season so far. They're missing Kessler, obviously. Trae Young is going to be sitting for Atlanta. Everybody else for Atlanta is going to be playing. If you take a look at these two teams so far, the Hawks have won. They got over a 500 record right now. 58% of their games have won. If you look at the Jazz have won 36% of their games. They are coming off of a big win not a big win. I meant a blowout win, a dominant win over the Pacers, which is the Pacers are pretty mid right now. If you look at the Hawks, they're on a 3-game win streak. They are on a back-to-back. They blew out the Kings last night. So Hawks aren't really – I'm not too worried about the back-to-back here. I think the Jazz can keep this close. Jazz for plus money is not a bad bet, I don't think. But for me, I'm going to have to go with Atlanta. I don't trust the Jazz, man. But the Hawks on the road twice. I'm pretty sure last night they were on the road, right? Yeah. In Sacramento. So they're on the road twice. Tired legs. I mean, they're definitely going to be a tired team versus the Jazz that's well rested at home. It could definitely go the Jazz's direction, but I do think the Hawks have the better team even without Trae Young, and I like them to come out here and beat the Jazz on the road. So I'm going to run with Atlanta here. Right now, we've already looked at the money. A lot of money on Atlanta, but I actually agree with it here. Next game we have is the Pacers versus the Suns. Ugly game, hard to call. The Suns are 7-5. They actually have a positive record, which is crazy to me. 4.5-point spread with a 233.5-point total. 75% of the money and 85% of the money is on the Suns. This is a spot where the Pacers have won one game this season. They are 1-10, like looking horrendous, man. Getting blown out by every single team. I think they can possibly beat the Suns, man. The Suns are on a back-to-back. They barely beat Dallas. Dallas sat all their starters yesterday, kept it close. Like, I don't think that the Suns are that much better than the Pacers. For me, I'm going to have to run with the Pacers at plus 170. I know that's risky. I've taken the Pacers a couple times. Benedict Mathurin is still going to be out, obviously. Missing a lot of players here. They do have Nembhard, Nesmith, and Siakam, so Jalen Green is the only one missing for the Suns. They got Devin Booker, that's their star right now. Grayson Allen has stepped it up in a couple of games. Dylan Brooks, I'm not a fan of, I'll be honest with you. Royce O'Neal, I thought was struggling with some injury. Anyway, he's playing. They got Mark Williams, obviously, at center. This game, I mean, it could go either way. You can get best value right now, plus 186 right now for the Pacers. I'm probably going to run with the Pacers here, man. 1-10, they're due for a win. I know they're not very good right now. They're struggling without Halliburton, but it is what it is, man. They got a lot of injuries. That's one big reason here. I'm going to take the Pacers to come out here and get a win. I know they're on the road. Suns just had a tough victory, so I'm hoping that tired legs or something plays some factors here, and I can get some plus money odds and get us a nice little dub. Even though right now Phoenix probably is the better team, and they probably win 2 or 3 games, but right now I got to run with the Pacers on this one. So my 3 calls for this game, I think the Cavs win. Toronto's plus 7.5 is what I think happens. So you can run Cavs money line or Toronto spread. I'm running with Hawks money line, and then I'm going to run with Pacers money line. So maybe I call 2 or 3 wrong. It could definitely happen. There's definitely some tough calls here tonight, especially with teams on back-to-backs. But that's what I've got for this slate. So let's go ahead and jump into some player props, guys. Player prop number 1 we're going to jump into is going to be for NFL. So I have 3 NFL plays and 2 NBA plays. So let's go ahead and jump into these. So the first one's going to be for our man Drake May. Taking Drake May fantasy score. I'm giving an extra play. That way you guys can play around with. If you can't play with Drake May fantasy score, you can swap it with something else. I struggled to say that for some reason. But anyways, Drake May, 21 fantasy. He's cashed at 6 of 10 games on the season. He's missed it 2 games in a row. We had his fantasy score at like 19.5 his last game. He ended up going under by throwing an interception. Interceptions are obviously going to be negative fantasy score here. But I like Drake May, man, for 21. Against some of these worst teams, he's been dominating for us. So versus Miami, he had 26. Versus Carolina, he had 23. Yep, I put the Panthers as one of the the bad teams for the guy who was mad about it last time. Still think they're pretty bad as a team. 27 for New Orleans, and then he had 27 versus Cleveland. And obviously, if they play Dallas, I think he'd go over on Dallas too. Let's just throw that out there. But anyways, I do think this is a spot for him to get a lot of passing yards, could potentially get a lot of rushing yards. They don't give up many passing yards per game just due to teams not having to pass the ball versus the Jets. When you're winning by a touchdown and a half, you don't have to pass the ball and risk throwing interceptions, risk turnovers. You just run the ball, milk the clock, and get the game over with, get you guys out of there without injuries. So that is why this passing defense is so good, in my opinion. I don't think the Jets have a very good passing defense. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you look at the rushing yards allowed, they have one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. They give up a lot of yards, and that being said, another same reasoning here. They legitimately are having teams try to milk the clock on them because they're losing every single game. So 140 rushing yards per game. They give a lot of rushing yards to quarterbacks. If you come down here and you look at quarterbacks, so we're going to look at the defense for the Jets versus the offense for the Patriots here, and you can see sacks. They're getting around 2 sacks per game. The Patriots are giving up 3.5 sacks per game, which is 28th in the league. They're giving up a lot of sacks, so they're letting these defenses get to Drake May. Drake May is having to scramble. You look at QB hits, giving up almost 6 QB hits per game. The Jets are getting around 3.7, so one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. Let's be honest here. They're not getting to the quarterback a lot, but a team that gives up a lot, you can kind of average it out here and say that Drake May's probably going to have to scramble a couple of times to get off of this defense. So that's my personal opinion on here. I can see Drake May rushing for 20 to 30 yards. You give him that's 2 to 3 fantasy right there on its own. He probably throws for a couple passing TDs if you want to take passing TDs. I think it's like a 1.4x or 1.5x for 2 passing touchdowns. I think he throws for passing touchdowns as well, man. I think this is going to be a good game for him. I think he throws for or gives us 21.5 fantasy. You can get it on Prizepicks over here. Let's go ahead and select this real quick. NFL. We're going to click fantasy score. Drake May at 21. You guys can run that if you want, or you can fade it. So you can get the same exact slip over here on parlay play, and you can actually take parlay play right now. You can get 200 passing yards for Drake May. I'm pretty sure he's going to throw for 200. That's my personal opinion. If you want to run that, you can. It's a $10 max slip. Code Fantasy Aces on parlay play. We'll get you a free month of VIP. You get a deposit match. They give you $5 for free, and you get a bunch of free bets. So this is one of them right now, the exclusive slash line for Drake May. So we're just going to lock this in live. I'm going to use this instead of fantasy score on parlay play. But anyway, we'll just lock this in live for you guys, and then I'll do. Obviously, I'm going to lock in the fantasy score too. But anyways, Drake May at 199.5 passing yards should be a pretty good play. If we wanted to research that, we can go ahead and just select pass yards here, bring him down to 199.5, and he's cashed it every game this season. He's averaging 255 passing yards. So this is not a spot unless they just go up 4 touchdowns really quickly. And it's like a bunch of defensive TDs and things like that. They get pick sixes and fumbles and things. I don't think that he goes under this, and that would be the only chance he goes under, in my opinion, unless he just has a horrendous game, which I don't think is going to happen. So I like Drake May at that line. Second pick that I have is going to be for our man Breece Hall. This is the only player from the Jets I can trust. I'm going to be taking Breece Hall for 59.5 rush and receiving yards. Now, we've already talked about the rushing defense from the Patriots. Patriots rushing defense has looked fantastic right now. They're number one in the nation, giving up only 79 rushing yards per game. Same thing versus running backs. They're only giving up 57 rushing yards per game to a running back. But if you look at the receiving yards, giving up almost 40 receiving yards per game to running backs, and they're giving up 241 receiving yards overall. So if we get Breece Hall down to 59.5, he's cashed this line in 5 of 9 games on the season. He's hooked it a couple of times, come very, very close in a couple of games, but he's had over 100 rushing receiving yards in his last 2 games. Last game versus the Cleveland Browns, he had 42 receiving yards with 1 reception. Now his targets, he hasn't been getting as many the last few games. He started the season off very hot, getting 5 to 6 receptions per game or targets per game, and now he's getting 3, 3, and 1. So they have not been doing well at getting the screen passes to our man Breece Hall. I think this is going to be a spot versus a good team on Thursday night where they're going to have to. If you look at the New England versus running backs, they've struggled on these little check down screen passes to the running backs. So I think this could be a spot where Breece Hall does get some targets, and I like this play for him over 59.5 rushing receive yards because he can realistically cash this in just receiving yards or just rushing yards. So this is going to end up being a good play in my opinion. So you can get it that's rush yards. Do not select that. It's going to be a discounted line for sure. 59. Jeez, dude. Right here, 1.28x. It's going to give us a 2.3x. $10 max is all we can play And what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to throw in the third pick with this one. I'm going to play all of them on this this one slip. So the third pick that I had for today was actually going to be for our man Behringer. So we're taking the punters for the New England Patriots, and I can't pull them up on here. Anyways, so I'll pull it up on Prizepicks for you guys. So punts, I know people don't like punts. Right now, Bryce Behringer is 3 punts. 3 is not a lot. You can look. He has legitimately hit this line in 5 of his last 5 or pushed it. A push means that we get some value, but you're just not going to get a full payout. This is a good payout, man. Let's go to rushing receiving yards just by throwing in something that has a pretty dang good chance. Now, I know this Jets defense isn't lights out or anything, but sometimes this New England team has a slow start, and I can see them getting a couple punts early, and then maybe punting once in the second half and giving us 3. He could potentially give us 4. This could end up being a very low scoring game. You never know, man. At 3 punts, it's hard for me not to take it. If you want to fade it, you can fade it, but it is what it is. Right here, you have a 4.2x. If you put $100 on it, you're going to win 425. It's a nice little slip in my opinion. I am going to be playing this with the discounted line over here on Parlay Play. So let's go ahead and type in Behringer. 1.78 normal payout. This gives us the 2.75x. And we can lock this in right now. Why is it a 2.75x? 2.3. It's a regular payout. That payout is wrong. Let's select a regular payout, not from the same team. So we're just going to select like a 1.78x. Let's find one. 1.82, close enough. And of course, that's for the Patriots. I got to find one from where's Brees? I'm doing this to check the value here because the value seems wrong, and I don't know if it's going to fix itself. So we're just going to hit 1.82x right here. That's a 3.2x. So here's what I'm saying, guys. We just had a 1.78x and another play, and it was a 2.7x. It should be a 2. It should be over a 3x with just the 2 plays. All right. I'm going to lock it in and see what happens. Maybe it'll fix itself after I lock it in, but I don't like seeing stuff like that. 2.75x. I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to hit up Parlay Play support if this doesn't pay out right. And they're going to have to fix the payout. I'll make sure that my affiliate manager knows this as well. Yeah, this should not be a 2.75x. I will I'm going to message them and try to get this fixed. If you want to wait a little bit, then you could try to wait before playing this, but that should definitely not be where it is. So we're going to lock in that. Then we're just going to lock in Drake May with Brees Hall. So I'm going to have these 2-on-2 slips. That's what I'm doing. You don't have to tell these. I like these a lot, so I'm going to put a full unit on here. 2.28, 250 to win 570, and that is there if you guys do want to tell. You could also run something with the Behringer punts alone. I might run that with an NBA slip as well. Why it's taking forever to lock in, I don't know, but it is. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into some of these NBA plays for today. So I got 2 NBA picks. We're going to talk about them. Let's talk about the first one. So the first one I have is going to be for our man RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett for the Raptors is playing versus Cleveland. They are in Cleveland today. They are rested. They're not on a back-to-back. That's what I mean by that. So getting him at 24.5 PRA right now on Parlay Play as a boosted line. Now this is a good payout. We can go over here and select it. RJ Barrett 24.5, 1.46x. It's a great payout here. It's a good matchup. He's cashed 8 of 11 games on the season. He's averaging almost 29 PRA per game. He's hooked it a couple of games versus Dallas and versus the Nets. Head-to-head, he's cashed just 4 straight games versus Cleveland. Great matchup. If you look at Cleveland versus the small forward position, they have one of the worst defenses in the league to the small forward position so far. Now, you got to understand DeAndre Hunter hasn't played all the time. They put DeAndre Hunter on Barrett. We'll see what happens. But regardless, man, I think Barrett can give us 25 PRA in a tough game versus Cleveland in Cleveland. Now, you got to look at Cleveland. Remember, some of their players are questionable. We don't know what the final lineup's going to be. I'm assuming every starter is going to play. That's what I think. But that being said, RJ Barrett, 24.5 PRA should not be that bad. We'll pull it up over here on this Props Madness website so we can take a look at the scoring chart and see where they allow points. So if we click RJ Barrett, there he is. I was about to say, am I blind? You got a yellow matchup everywhere. So you got a mid matchup everywhere. Not bad at all. I don't mind seeing yellow. You got 42 or 64% of his shots in the paint. The rest of them are pretty much going to be from mid-range and three-point line. So regardless, I like Barrett here. Who am I going to pair Barrett with? I'm pairing RJ Barrett with our main man Nembhard. So I'm taking Andrew Nembhard over 14.5 points. I did not mean to click that. Over 14.5 points. This is a line that he's hit in 2 of 4 games so far this season. He hooked it 1 game. So 2 of the 3 games, he's had over 20 points per game. The first game, you got to understand, he only played 17 minutes. He was just getting into the rhythm, so I don't even count this game. You also got to see who's injured, so you can go to games without player. And Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin was in one of the games he played. That was the first game he played. So if you look at our man Andrew Nembhard right now, he's averaging 20 points per game over his last 3, with 1 game being a hook. So this is a decent matchup versus Phoenix. It should be pretty fast-paced. If you look at Phoenix's defense to the guard position, you can see they give up 16th in the league, 25.5 points to the point guard, and then they give up 25.3 points to the shooting guard. So 50 points overall to the guard position. Nembhard should be able to get some opportunities here. They're missing a lot of players. Him and Siakam are going to be the 2 to step it up. Him, Siakam, and Naismith, and that should be the 3 that we look at for points, in my opinion. If you want to take a different player, you're more than welcome. But I like Nembhard here for 15 points, and that's why I'm going to lock him in. So 14.5 does give us a 1.5x. This is a 2.19. It's a 1.9 for 14. Let's take a look at Nembhard's 3-point attempts. So 3-point attempts so far this season, he's averaging 7. 7 threes per game. He had 10 double digits. All he has to do is, what I'm looking at here is the even number. So if you're looking at 13.5 versus 14.5, obviously 14.5 is not going to be an injured number, or an even number, or 15 would not be an even number. So you need that either 3-point, or you need like a free throw in there, or for him to score 16 is pretty much what you'd be betting on here. So he shoots a lot of threes, 7 attempts per game. The odds are he's going to hit at least 1 3, which gives us an okay value here at 15 at 1.5x. So I'm willing to risk it here. If you want to take him at 14.5, you can do that as well. If we put 250 on 14, it does give us $477 compared to $547. So a $70 difference here in payout for 1 point. So you guys can decide what you want to do here. It's kind of tough. I understand it's a little bit sweaty sometimes, just because you'll play 14.5 and they give us 14 on the dot. So maybe we do run to 13.5 and be a little bit play scared money, I guess. I'm going to do that. I'd rather take the win than the hook by 0.5. So I'm going to take this chance here at 14. If you want to take Nembhard at 14.5, I honestly like him at 14.5 as well. So that's what I got. Those are the 3 slips. RJ Barrett and Nembhard for NBA. And then we got Breece Hall with Drake May over here for NFL, as well as Behringer punt. So we could run that as well if we wanted to run Behringer again. Let's do that. We could run that with what's Naismith? Aaron Naismith is at pretty much the same. We could put him at 14.5 points, and that could give us another 2.4x. Or we can put him at like 13.5 as well, take another double up. I might play this too. I'm going to do this too, just in case Nembhard isn't the one that steps it up tonight. And I think both of them could score. So we'll put them in separate slips. I'm going to do that. I don't mind it. You guys are getting an extra slip if you want to play it. But that's what I got for today, guys. Lock them in if you like them. Fade them if you don't. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.